like this. So yes, hello everyone. My name is Vahe and I represent ABCD Innovation Center, with an organization, which is an organization based in Armenia, and we are one of the implementing partners within this project. And yeah, thanks for this opportunity. Today, I'm going to talk about crowdfunding. What is crowdfunding? How it can help us to raise some funds for our social projects, for our startups. Um, so let's start first with the definition. So there are a bunch of different definitions about crowdfunding, but I took the one which is very comprehensive and which is very similar to other scientific definitions. I took it simply from Wikipedia. So crowdfunding is a method for obtaining project funding by soliciting contributions from a large group of people, and especially from an online community. Here, I want you to pay attention on the word project. So for crowdfunding, you need to have a project. Second is contribution from a large group of people. So not from one company, from one person, from one rich guy, etc., but from large group of people. And the last word that I want you to pay attention is online. So it is a project. It is the contribution for the project is coming from large group of people, and especially you are getting these contributions through various online platforms. So in reality, crowdfunding is not a new concept. And in fact, it is an updated version, I would say, of a traditional fundraising process. It used to be that previously church groups or civic groups would raise money to build a school, or I don't know, implement different kind of community projects. With the internet, that local group now can reach out to much larger population, to much larger audience. For instance, like in Armenia, for instance, centuries ago, when a church was being built in certain communities, it was not just one person who would fund the construction of the church, or one business, but the entire community would contribute. One would bring, I don't know, stone, another one would bring cement, another one with recent trends terms, it would call in-kind contribution. Like one person who does not have any, I don't know, stone, cement, or money, they would do just, I don't know, some construction works. So why I wanted to start with this parallel. So to say that even centuries ago, people were doing crowdfunding, but currently it has become more popular, and more impactful mechanism for getting resources and for implementing your project or for realizing your startup idea. Another example from ancient times, and then I will come to our current times. Early crowdfunding efforts can even date back to the 18th century, when writers or musicians gathered money from many investors to publish large pieces of work. So this is just a few examples that crowdfunding existed even before, but now with these recent technologies, with online tools, etc., we have the opportunity to reach a wider audience, wider population, and eventually collect more amount of money for our projects, for our idea, for implementing, for realizing our ideas. In this slide, you can see a diagram which visually illustrates what is crowdfunding. So first, you need to have the idea. So you need to identify what is the problem that you are going to solve, and what is the solution that you are going to propose to the wider audience. It could be a product, for instance, that you are developing a product. It can be some charity cause, social cause. For instance, let's help, I don't know, elderly people. Let's help children from special institutions, or it can be some environmental causes. So purely social charity causes, charity causes. The next one, it can be some innovative idea how to solve this or that problem. For instance, I don't know, there is no transport in certain villages, and you are trying to find some innovative application or website or whatever to solve that certain issue. Or there is no children in the villages do not have access to quality education. In this case, you are coming up with some technological or innovative idea, how to fill this gap and to ensure that children in the villages, they have quality education. It can be services, for instance. As you know, a lot of municipal services or a lot of state services are not available for the rural population. It is due to the distance. It is due to the, I don't know, villagers should pay some extra amount of money for transportation, etc., etc. So currently, a lot of governments, a lot of civil society organizations are creating different online platforms, so-called e-platforms. We even have e-government services in Armenia, for instance, for cadastre, for different social services, for property certificates, etc., etc. You can use website platforms, so you don't need to physically go to the government building to get this or that paper. So and more examples. So to sum up, um, the first pillar of this frame, of the crowdfunding framework, is the idea. The second one is that when you have the idea, when you have the project, general public funds the campaign. So you are collecting individual contributions from the general public to implement the idea that you have identified at the beginning of this process. The third pillar, I would say, is that campaign, when public starts to fund your campaign idea turns into reality if you are successful in terms of getting sufficient amount of resources. And when your campaign turns into reality, you have to go back to your backers and justify their contribution. Some of the backers, they have interest in equity, or they have interest, I don't know, like having satisfied that this or that social cause has been solved. In the later stages, I will talk about different models that crowdfunding has. It has four main models. And there you would also see this equity term and also rewards term. And it will be more clear why in this, under this diagram, I have mentioned that backers get awarded in terms of interest, equity, and rewards loan. Yeah, so in general, the process for setting up a crowdfunding campaign follows more or less the similar patterns. There are different diagrams, processes, but I decided to use this simple three-phase process to explain how you have to set up your crowdfunding campaign. So first, you have to create a page. When I say page, it is social media account, crowdfunding, you have to register on crowdfunding platforms, etc. And the most important element here is that you have to write a very compelling story about your product or your cause or your other project. Why it is important? Because you can identify the best problem, the very urgent problem, the very vital issue for the public. But if you don't have a story around this issue, if you are not succeeding in terms of packaging your issue, in that case, you will not manage to get the attention of the public. And in the next slide, I will also present an example of how the successful successful and appealing story should look like. So this is the first phase in this process. In the second phase, you have to spread the word, because again, you can have the very urgent issue, you can have the story behind, but you will not succeed if you will not manage to take this story to the public. So people will get acquainted with the story, will get acquainted with the issue, and they will get interested in supporting this cause. So the next one is spreading the word and having this snowball effect, or in other words, we also say spreading the social virus and reaching this tipping point when certain percent of the public is aware about this problem and is aware about the story and is aware about the solution that you are proposing for that certain issue, and then they start donating. And the last phase is obviously collecting all these donations. So 3 simple phases for setting up your crowdfunding campaign: creating a page and story and all the infrastructure, the foundation for your campaign, spreading the word, and then collecting the donation. The process is not complicated, but steps 1 and 2 are, I would say, very critical to the success or failure. The story is your only marketing tool. If you have some marketing background or you have been involved in marketing activities, etc., you might most probably you have noticed that now the term marketing is changed into the word storytelling, because people do not like to be like victims of marketing tools, etc., but they prefer to fall in love with the story. They would love to hear the story and not this marketing and advertising campaigns. For instance, in tourism, when you are developing a touristic product and then you have to market it, like marketing specialists are not saying that we are marketing, but they are saying that we are using storytelling method to engage more clients in this in using this product. So a lot of things are changing in this sector, and storytelling is the key tool for attracting the attention of the public. In addition, you should also plan to spend time on the outreach campaign, as I said, for this spreading the word. Just a second, spreading the word. So once you have the website, once you have all the social media accounts, once you have the fundraising campaign on different fundraising platforms, you need to send people to the website, and those people need to share the story with their friends. I'm sure that most of you have watched the movie Eat, Pray and Love, where the main character, Julia Roberts, sent an email to her friends asking them to help out a new friend she had met during her travels for the birthday gift. So if you remember, she wrote to them that and explained to them the problem, and she also included the description of the person and why she was so special for her. The response was overwhelming and generated more funds than it was needed. So this movie captured the simple form of crowdfunding, where you have the story behind, and you did the outreach campaign, and then you collected the donation from individuals who got interested in this issue. As you have noticed, I have mentioned several times the storytelling words. So I would like to present to show a video of one of the most successful Kickstarter campaigns. It is a planner. It is called Passion Planner. This is one of my favorites, and they started 5 years ago. And yeah, let's watch the video, and then I will continue my presentation. Just let me know if the sound is not on.
Vahe, we cannot hear.
You cannot hear. Just a second. I will just stop sharing, and I will share the screen. And just a second. I have to do like this, I guess. Select the speak. Can you hear now?
No,
Yes?
no, we cannot hear.
You cannot hear. I have to do like this. Just a second. Sorry for this technical thing. And I will just disconnect this Bluetooth.
What the heck am I doing with my life? This was
Can you hear now?
the question I
Yes.
asked.
Yes.
Yes.
What the heck am I doing with my life? This was the question I asked myself over and over when I was caught in a period of directionless loading. I had just graduated from UCLA, and I had no idea what I wanted to do next. This post-grad uncertainty spiraled me into a strange depression, and I found myself caught in analysis paralysis. After 3 months of overthinking and worrying about the future, I decided that I just needed to take action and pull myself out of this rut. I took out a piece of paper and brain vomited everything that was swirling around in my head, and I realized that one of my most important lifelong goals was to make a tool that helped people. I thought about what helped me the most during the most hectic yet most fulfilling times of my life. I realized I always had a sidekick that helped me organize my thoughts, my planner. But I was unsatisfied with the planners on the market. They were all very practical, but not personal. They helped you plan your daily life, but were not concerned about what you wanted out of life. I wanted to change that. I wanted people to look at the big picture and ask themselves, if I can have, be, or do anything, what would it be? And plan their lives according to their answer. I wanted to make a planner that got people to dream big, take their dreams and break them down to actionable steps, and incorporate those steps into their daily lives. And that's how Passion Planner was born. Passion Planner harnesses the power of paper by giving you one place to store all of your thoughts. I believe pen and paper is important. There is something transformative in writing something down that doesn't happen when you do it digitally. Passion Planner begins with an exercise that helps you map out your long and short-term goals. Then it walks you through breaking them down into more actionable steps and provides weekly layouts for you to incorporate those steps into your daily agenda. The weekly layouts are composed of weekly and daily focuses where you can ask yourself, what is the most important thing that needs to get done in this given day or week? An appointment calendar that runs from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. broken down into 30-minute increments. A section for good things that happen to keep you focused and looking for the positive in every week. A motivational quote and a matching challenge to encourage you to translate those words into positive action. Dual personal and work to-do lists organized by priority to promote personal and work-life balance, because all too often we get caught up in work and put our personal needs on the back burner. Lastly, there is a blank section where you can use to take notes, draw, journal, brainstorm, or customize to your needs. Every month has a 2-page overview where you can define and break down the most important projects of the month. Lastly, each month concludes with reflection questions to get you thinking about progress, gratitude, and steps for improvement. I am doing this Kickstarter to fund the production of a smaller version of Passion Planner Compact. It has been redesigned for increased portability, so you can take your Passion Planner with you anywhere. Passion Planner has evolved into the tool that I wish someone gave me when I was feeling lost. This year alone, Passion Planner has helped thousands of people accomplish their goals. I have so much belief that Passion Planner can be a catalyst to change someone's life that I feel that anyone should be able to use it regardless of their financial ability. That's why I've decided to offer it completely for free. If you share this Kickstarter on any social media and shoot us an email saying that you did, we will send you the full PDF version of Passion Planner 15 for you to use to pursue and chase your dreams. I'm so excited to see what amazing things you guys accomplish with the use of Passion Planner. Thanks.
Yes, just a second. Yeah, so this was one of the most successful Kickstarter campaigns. And I really wanted to, after presenting the storytelling concept, etc., to watch this video and see how, like, anyone can make a good planner. But if you don't have the story behind, if you are not able to package your idea, your project in an appealing way, if you are not able to make this outreach campaign, that then your project or your idea will be just an idea, just a regular idea. So that is why storytelling is crucial. It is not just about like any even like if you are opening a cafeteria, like even if you are a wine producers, there are several, like bunch of thousands of companies that they are producing good wine because they have very good equipment, they have very good grapes, and they are like more or less the same. Like if you have quality wine, then they can be like more or less the same. But sometimes we are buying the wine from a company that has a very appealing, very inspiring story behind. Sometimes we are buying a wine from a family-owned winery because we really believe that this family, and they are also making it as a story, that they are producing small amount of wine and they are producing it for their family, they are producing at a very good quality, etc. And then we are buying the wine from that certain company. So yeah, let's continue. So we talked about the framework, we talked about the process of crowdfunding. Here I want to talk about like the main steps and to talk about how the crowdfunding campaign works. So I have mentioned several times about the idea. So you have to have the idea, the urgent need, the need which might interest various layers of the society. Then you have to create a project. Then you have to tell the crowd about your project and about your idea. Then the crowd, pledges for the cash, and then the crowd starts advertising the project among public, among their friends, among their colleagues, etc. Then last but not least, you turn your idea into reality. So 6 simple steps which will take you to the successful implementation of your project. You have the idea, it is not enough. You have to create a project based on that idea. Even after this, it is not enough. You have to tell the public about your project, and then the crowd should pledge for the cash, and then the crowd should disseminate, should spread and advertise your project among other potential stakeholders, and then you are turning your idea into reality. So regarding the timeline, crowdfunding timeline, you have pre-launch phase. In this phase, you are mostly researching, trying to identify the need, trying to gather some kind of data, both quantitative and qualitative data. If you want, I don't know, to solve some environmental issue, you have to have a lot of data, a lot of evidence that this is a real issue and people should donate for that cause. Then you are launching your crowdfunding campaign. After launching, you are starting the promotion using different kind of methods. Here in this presentation, I will not talk about the tools, about the methods, how you can promote your project, your crowdfunding project. And then you are follow-upping and giving the gifts back. Gift can be, as I said, some kind of a product or some kind of discount for your community, let's say. Yes, and another key, when I was developing this session, another key question that was coming to my mind was, I really want to convince people that why should this crowdfunding method, this crowdfunding tool work? So you are gathering small donations from many people, and you are implementing your project. It is very tough to go to one person or to one company and say, I need $10,000 or $20,000 for implementing this or that project. It is almost unrealistic if you are a startup or you are a person or you are an organization with almost no experience in that field. But tapping into your online social connections, you can really reach a much broader audience in less time with less resources than the traditional fundraising processes. Another key question that I wanted to present, there is some kind of misunderstanding or confusion between the term crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. So crowdfunding falls under the crowdsourcing umbrella, but not all crowdsourcing services are looking for donations. But some crowdsourcing sites collect innovative ideas or work on problem-solving questions. In these cases, the donors are not providing money for solving this issue, but they are sharing their skills, expertise, talents. There may be even some monetary reward for them. For instance, we have a huge diaspora, Armenian diaspora in different countries, and some people do not have these extra resources to donate for different projects, but they can allocate some time from their daily life and I don't know, organize some kind of trainings, for instance, for farmers or for teachers, etc., etc. So they are not providing money, but they are providing their resources, their time, and their expertise. So this is the difference between the crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is all about donating or investing monetary resources, but during the crowdsourcing, you can collect some kind of innovative ideas. If you are, I don't know, if you are the municipality, you can announce a crowdsourcing campaign and say, okay, I have a garbage problem, but I need some kind of innovative ideas how to solve this problem. Or I don't know, in the villages, the municipality or the government can say that I cannot find qualified teachers and I need some kind of innovative ideas or maybe some solutions how I can address this issue. And the same example with the diaspora, using their potential for addressing, for solving this or that
issue. So the next slide is about the types of crowdfunding. In this slide, you can see that there are four main types of crowdfunding, namely donation model, reward model, lending model, and equity model. In the next slides, we will talk about each of those models. So let's start with the reward-based crowdfunding model. This model is the, I would say, the most common type of crowdfunding option available. This type of crowdfunding involves setting varying levels of rewards that correspond to the pledge of amount. For instance, if you pledge $100, then you get X reward. If you pledge $200, then the Y, and then the third one, the Z. A standard rewards campaign offers at least 3 levels of rewards. And this is a very common model for startups. And I would recommend to explore this model after the workshop. Another example, for instance, someone from the village wants to establish a guest house, but they don't have the resource to, they don't have the money to build the guest house. So what they are saying, they're starting a crowdfunding campaign and saying, if you pledge $100, then as soon as we build our guest house, you will have, I don't know, the opportunity to stay in our guest house for 4 days without any money, without any fee. Or they can have this, I don't know, different membership like gold, I don't know, silver, etc. So collecting money for a product that will be developed, that will be built with their resources, with the resources of the people who pledged certain amount. So this is the reward-based crowdfunding type. The second one is equity-based crowdfunding, and it is the exchange of actual shares in a private company for capital. So in this form of crowdfunding, entrepreneurs can set investor caps, minimum pledge amounts, as well as they would approve or deny investors who wish to view their business documents. So this is like more serious. You have to have this legal basis. You have to be willing to share certain business plans, certain certificates, etc., because investors are not going to donate you amount, but they are going to invest in your business or in your project or in your startup, and they would get some kind of actual shares in your private company. Equity campaigns are typically several months or longer in length and fit well with startups seeking between $50,000 and $10 million. This is like the average that I got from existing data, average amount that I got from existing data. So in this crowdfunding model, it is available, this crowdfunding model is available to accredited investors only. And you must issue a stock in your company. If someone is investing certain amount of money, so it is not like a donation, but it is an investment, and you have to issue a stock in your company. Here I want to talk like briefly about the main steps for the equity-based crowdfunding. Just a second. So first, you are signing up with a registered crowdfunding portal. So you have to register your company in this platform. Second, you are submitting background checks. You are submitting documents for background checks. It can be official registration or some certificates or maybe some legal documents, etc. After which the platform is approving your crowdfunding project. Then you have to provide essential company information to the investors, because in this case, investors or people who want to contribute, they require and they request more official information, because they are going to invest in your company. but you decide whether to approve that pledge or deny it. So you decide what kind of investors you are allowing into your company. Then investors contribute up to $2,500 to the project. This is, again, the average amount that I got from the existing publicly available data. So in the next phase, you exchange for money, in exchange of money, investors get shares in your company. Then these shares give investors voting rights in your company. And then target reaches platform performs more vetting before releasing funds to businesses. And last but not least, investors continue to be advocates for your business. So they are investing in your company, and then they are becoming the advocates. So these are the main steps for equity-based crowdfunding. As you see, it is more sophisticated, it is more bureaucratic, and it is more serious, I would say. The third model of crowdfunding is donation-based crowdfunding. And donation-based crowdfunding is a way to source money for a project by asking a large number of contributions to individually donate a small amount to it. So donation crowdfunding is exactly what it sounds like. The campaigns collect donations without being required to provide anything of value in return, in comparison with the previous one, with the equity-based crowdfunding. So in case of donation-based crowdfunding, this campaign serves, as I said at the very beginning of the session, some social causes, some environmental causes, or in general, some charity causes. And this is the best tool for charities, for instance. And charities, if you are not startup, if you are more in charity, then you might look to crowdfunding as means to gather support for different, I don't know, relief efforts or causes or social causes that your organization is championing. For instance, there are a lot of organizations in Armenia that are engaged in disaster relief charities, and they seek funds to aid in the search, rescue, I don't know, recovery or treatment of individuals affected by some, I don't know, different disasters or, I don't know, earthquakes, etc. And there might be some donation-based crowdfunding campaign that would, I don't know, seek to buy, to create shelters or to procure some medical equipment or clothes, etc. And yeah, so this is like the most common crowdfunding model for charities. And here I wanted to present a small diagram. Here you see that 34% of donation-based crowdfunding campaigns relate to social causes. 20% they relate to films and performing art. 15% they relate to businesses and entrepreneurship activities. 20% they are related to music and recording art sector, and 10% art in general. Here, I want to say a few words about this business and entrepreneurship, because maybe there might be some confusion between donation-based crowdfunding model and equity-based, because in equity, we are mostly talking about businesses. And here you see that 15% of the crowdfunding campaigns, they are related to business and entrepreneurship sector. Here, one example, like there might be a person who wants to start a local business in the rural area, and they would ask for money, not like equity, not giving you some shares in their businesses, but like simply if you want to support this kind of business in the rural area. So it is not investment, but it is supporting, donating to the idea. Maybe you want to help that business which will later on boost the economic development of this or that village. So here, when we say business, we are mostly talking about this supporting local businesses, but not investing in those businesses. And the last crowdfunding model is lending-based crowdfunding. And lending-based crowdfunding campaigns, they are mostly tending to take place over a short period of time. And like on average, it is 5 weeks. It works very well for the entrepreneurs who don't want to give up equity in the startup immediately. So they don't want to get some resources, instead give some shares in their company. So they are getting this, let's say, they are using these lending-based crowdfunding campaigns. And essentially a large amount of retail investors lend money through platform to business and individual. You would say why people should use this platform instead of going to the bank and getting this loan. But in reality, using this lending-based crowdfunding, you are removing many of these middlemen that would be involved if the transaction happens through the bank or through the bank or other debt-based mechanism. I don't know, loan companies, loan giving companies, etc. And in this case, borrowers will pay less while potentially giving the lenders improved rates in return. So it is win-win situation both for the lenders and also for the borrowers. Yeah, so these are the 4 main crowdfunding types. Again, to repeat, donation model, when you are donating without expecting anything. Reward model, when you are giving, pledging some cash, instead you expect to have some kind of reward, instead in terms of, I don't know, membership cards or discounts, or I don't know, the example with the guest house, when you are pledging a cash now, and then you will be able to stay in the guest house afterwards. The third model is lending model, the last one that I was presenting, when you are giving money with certain interest rate, and it is a win-win situation both for the lender and also borrower. And equity model, when you are pledging a cash and at the same time you are investing in the company, getting some kind of shares in the company. So these are the 4 main types of crowdsourcing. And in this part of the session, I want to talk about key elements for successful crowdfunding campaigns based on our experience. So first, you need to set up social media profiles on all the social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram. Sorry. Maybe based on your product's specific features and uniqueness, etc., you might be more active on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, but it is important to have social media presence on all the social media profiles. Second, you have to set a budget, and the budget should be very precise and very transparent and very justified, because you cannot say I need $40,000 for this or that project. You have to have some kind of justified budget, so people will trust you and will be sure that their investment, their contribution will not be wasted. So be sure that you have a very concrete, very precise budget, whether it is a social development project, or it is a startup, or it is I don't know, some kind of business, etc. And it doesn't matter what kind of crowdfunding model you are using. You have to present very precise, justified, transparent, and understandable budget. which is one of the cornerstones of your of the successful implementation of your campaign. Then you have to pay attention on your marketing pieces. I'm not an expert in this field, but you have to do a very good marketing campaign and develop very good marketing pieces on social media. You have to have very good user-friendly website, and your website should be very good, how they call it, optimized for search engines, so people will find the website very quickly, and the content in your website should be interesting for the interested parties. Then you have to do mobile marketing, which is a different direction with mobile websites, with messaging, with various applications, etc. And then you have to do email marketing for succeeding in your crowdfunding campaign. So social media, website, mobile marketing, and email marketing. The next, I want to tell about formula and impact of crowdfunding. So it is, again, very simple diagram, which I hope which will be remembered very well. So first, you multiply little money with a lot of people, and you get a very powerful crowdfunding campaign. Again, you don't need to get big amount of money from less people, but you get little amount of money from a lot of people, and then you get the successful and powerful crowdfunding campaign. So yes, at the bottom you see that a little money, I mean, by pulling small contributions of money from groups of people who share common interest, and yes, and you get the powerful crowdfunding campaign. Yes, I don't want, I will send a presentation, but as I have just 5 minutes, I will not go into details. Here I want to present this diagram, the crowdfunding for the startups, because it is more or less the same, it is following the same logic, but there are some kind of specific things for the crowdfunding for startups. So again, you are developing your business idea, then you are choosing the crowdfunding website platform, then you crowdfunding site screen, the crowdfunding site screens you for eligibility and fee. Then you are creating your crowdfunding campaign, describing your business idea or goal. Then you are sharing your campaign with family, friends, and social network, because it always starts with this small group of people. You really need to create this buzz around your concept and around your idea. And the easiest way to start your campaign is with engaging your friends, family, and social networks, and then asking them to share this campaign with their friends, and then having this snowball effect. And then supporters pledge funding, and then campaign closes and you receive the funds, hopefully. And then crowdfunding platform, they subtract some fee. It can be from 7 to 15%. It varies from platform to platform. And then you are completing your business goal or bringing your product to the market. And then you are rewarding your supporters with equity, product samples, or loan interest based on the crowdfunding model that you are using out of those 4 crowdfunding models. A few crowdfunding statistics. So most of the crowdfunding campaigns are on social causes. Then business is the second most popular direction. The third one, which was a surprise for me, it is films and art, then music and art, then energy and environment, and then other directions. And diagram that presents how rapidly the crowdfunding campaigns are growing. In 2009, there were only 53 crowdfunding portals. In 2015, there was 1,000 and more than 1,000 platforms, portals, and now even people are not counting, but there are more portals. Most of the crowdfunding platforms are in Europe, then in North America, then in Asia, South America, Australia, and Africa. So this also means that for when you design the target countries, the target audience, etc., first you should focus on Europe and North America, because this concept, this crowdfunding concept, is more understandable for the people in those countries, in those continents, and the countries that are located in those continents. Yes, and last two slides. Now I want to talk about pros and cons of the crowdfunding. Under the pros of crowdfunding, I have listed a few items. So it is about so much more than money. So when you are doing crowdfunding, it is not just about money, but you are creating some kind of community who are interested in your idea, who are in love with your idea, or who care about your idea and about your project. So it is not just about money, but it is also about building a community which will be with you, not only within this project, but also for the other upcoming projects and business ideas. It is a free page dedicated to your business. When you are creating a crowdfunding platform, you have a free page which is dedicated to your business. Investor groups regularly serve crowdfunding platforms. Then you are getting feedback, and as I said, you are creating this kind of sense of community. A willing audience interested in you and your success. Cheerleaders for your brand, like people who are pledging certain amount of cash, they are also becoming the ambassadors, the cheerleaders for your brand. And it makes your life easier in terms of scaling up your business idea or your project. But there are also some cons of crowdfunding. It is really very time consuming. In the presentation, I was presenting the good sides of the crowdfunding, but it is very time consuming. It is all or nothing. Either you are reaching your goal or you are not getting anything. Sometimes people have very unrealistic expectations for crowdfunding campaigns. You really need to work hard. It is 24/7 working mood, and you really need to work hard in order to succeed in your campaign. Lots of planning required. As you remember, at the very beginning of the session, I was talking about pre-launch phase, and you have to do a lot of homework. You have to collect a lot of data. You have to read a lot of report. You have to talk with a lot of people in order to develop the best project, the best product. So people, because when you are starting your crowdfunding campaign, you don't have this flexibility in revising your concept during the campaign. When the campaign is finished, you can have another round of campaign with upgraded version of your product or your project. But you have to do a lot of planning work in order to have the best project, the best business to show to the public. There are high chances that you will not get funded, and this is one of the cons of crowdfunding campaign. In the presentation, I also incorporated a lot of icons that you can use. You can just copy these separate icons, etc., and use for your future crowdfunding, future potential crowdfunding campaigns. As a wrap up, I just want to show you one video which will wrap up whatever I said. because yes, videos sometimes are more useful. Yes.
What the heck am I doing with my life?
Oh, sorry, I did it wrong. I have to show this one. Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the fastest growing online industries, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is when individuals or startups use an online platform to gain funding for a project. Globally, the crowdfunding industry raised $16.2 billion in 2015 and is projected to grow to $96 billion by 2025. Generally speaking, there are 4 kinds of crowdfunding sites, although some sites include more than one type of crowdfunding. First, debt-based sites. These are where contributors receive interest payments in exchange for their contributions. Examples include Funded Here, Crowdo, and Moolah Sense. Next, equity-based sites, where contributors receive shares in exchange for their contributions. Examples include AngelList, Funnel, Seedrs, and CapBridge. Third, reward-based platforms, where contributors are promised rewards in exchange for their support, like first priority access to the product once it goes live. Examples include Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Ulule. Finally, donation-based platforms, where donations are charitable and usually tax-deductible. Examples include Indiegogo, Patreon, YouCaring, and FriendFund. Now, crowdfunding websites have to invest heavily in their platforms upfront and slowly build up scale. So before investing in a crowdfunding platform, it's important to consider its stage of growth. In the early stage, the main focus should be on customer traction. You can gauge this by the amount of momentum being built among project initiators and investors. Therefore, the key valuation metrics include valuation divided by number of campaigns, valuation divided by successful campaigns, and valuation by funds raised. In the growth stage, the aim is to prove the revenue model and to scale up as rapidly as possible. Therefore, the key valuation metrics include valuation divided by funding value and valuation divided by revenue. Finally, in the late stage, the goal is to maximize profitability and cash flow while maintaining growth. Therefore, the key valuation metrics include valuation divided by revenue, valuation divided by EBITDA, and the PE ratio. Those are the basics of crowdfunding. To learn more, visit sgxacademy.com or download the digital research paper at sgx.com/digital sector. And good luck.
Yes, so thank you so much for your attention, and I will send the presentation with related materials to Tina. So afterwards, she will share with all the participants, and also the recording will be shared with other participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vahem.
Thank you.
For interesting presentation. Hello, Michelle. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello,
So,
Vahe.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, Tina. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So I wanted to ask if it's okay for you if we record this.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. So I think we can start then. So Michelle's workshop, as I send you information, it's related to networking.
Thank you, Tina. Did everybody got my mind map? It is a question.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
Take it in the hand and we'll speak about that. Because some people in Georgia told me they would like to speak with me about networking, how to get in it, how to handle with, how to be happy with it. So what, do you understand my mind map? This networking you have in a first column networking, in the second column with low color, to know people is always useful, and you go down, 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 down until strategic and tactics, and then explanations on it. To know people is always useful because you need friends, you need customers, you need providers, you need other people who are interested into your project, but also into your person. Don't forget, to be interested in your project means also to be interested in your person, or to be interested in your person means also to be interested in your project, but some way lower. And if you have customers, it is your interest to call them a kind of friend, to have some fidelity of them. Because a good customer is a customer that comes back. A good customer is a customer that buy a second time and a third time and so on, because you don't need to look for it. And by providers, you have the quality question, and the quality question is better if you are the kind of friend with your providers. And so you have not to worry about the quality of their providing. Why organizing the knowledge of people? You have to know the people so that you can understand what is networking. Why organizing the knowledge of people? Network means friendship, means solidarity, means fidelity, means confidence. Not always at a high level, but never at a low level. You have to find the level of fidelity, of friendship, of solidarity, and of confidence you will have with some people. And why that? Because you need them. You need people. You are not alone in this world, and they are not alone to this world, and they don't want to stay alone, and you don't want to stay alone. And they need you as you need them. And it means networks. You have to think in networks, not only in friendship, not only in solidarity, but in networks. So how adequate, prepared are you for networking? Networking is not a mechanism. It is not automatic. You need to be prepared. You need to know and to build the qualities you need in your personality to be work in networking. And here I have a list for you and we will discuss them. Active listening, empathy, sympathy, being open-minded, be positive-minded, being self-confident and brave, being attentive, and pay attention. So now I have some explanation on that. This is the French version. Where is the English version? So I have a problem because I don't find my English paper. Okay, we will have to work in French and in English. Active listening means not only listening, but active listening. I will take an example. Are you now playing with your smartphone? If yes, you are not in active listening. If you are really listening with your brain and with your ears and not playing with your smartphone, then it is active listening. You can test your way of active listening if you are able to repeat the last words of the people who are speaking. Are you able to repeat the words I spoke before? If yes, it was active listening. If not, it was not active listening. The third point is never cut the word. You remember in Tbilisi or in Georgia, we have a gentleman who cut the word. It is not active listening. Active listening is when somebody is ready with his speaking and you have understood what he said and you are able to repeat it. This is active listening. Without active listening, you are not listening. You are not really listening. And so people will not be interested to speak with you. to speak with you. Because if I speak to you, I expect active listening. Because with active listening, you are able to understand what I'm saying and also to criticize or to say your opinion and things like that. It doesn't mean that you have to share my opinion, but you have to hear it and to understand it. Empathy. What is empathy? Pay attention. Empathy has sounds like sympathy or like compassion, but it is not the same. Active listening and empathy are really connected with another. But sympathy is something else. Sympathy is the interest or curiosity for the emotions of somebody else. If you have sympathy with me now, it means that you are trying to understand what kind of emotions I have by now. It's not possible through the internet. But empathy means that you are going into some emotions. Maybe you're liking what I'm saying, maybe not. You have to understand that I like what I'm saying by now. And so if you like it, then we are in empathy. Sympathy, and you can test your way of empathy if you are able to do it. If you ask yourself, what would I feel, what would I do if I were on the place of the speaker persons? So let's go back. Active listening. You are active listening to somebody. In the same time, you are thinking what you would feel if you were the person who is speaking. This is empathy. And now you are probably understanding how far you have to go into the personality of the other persons. Sympathy means you are interested to feel, you are interested to understand what the people are feeling when you are speaking to them. If you are in a party in the evening and somebody is telling about his business, he is not only speaking about business, he's also speaking about his person. And here it is important to show sympathy, means curiosity, and to understand, does he like what he's doing or not? It is important. So, and if you are interested with curiosity with other persons, then you will quickly understand that the other people are interested into you. And if they are interested into you, then it is really a good game. The fourth one is be open-minded. Never judge other people who are in your network, whom you are trying to get into your network. Never judge them. Never think they are good or they are bad, because they are whether good nor bad. They are people you know. They are people you want to win for friendship or for business. It doesn't mean that you have to accept what he is saying. I was at a lunch today, lunch, and at my side was sitting somebody whose opinions, political opinions, I could not accept because they are far from mine. But this person belongs to my network. This person is important, but I don't need to accept his opinion, but I don't need to tell him that I don't accept it. It is not false, nothing to say. You are listening, and that's it. And if you are asked whether you accept that or not, you may answer or you may not answer. It is courageous not to answer. if you don't like something and you need the person. Fourth point, fifth point, be positive. To think positive and to give the opinion, to give the people who are listening to you the opinion that you think positive, then you have to think about yourself, about your life, about the way you go into problems or things like that. You remember I told you some people are problem-oriented, some people are solution-oriented. What are you? Are you problem-oriented or are you solutions-oriented? Or are you both? Both is
Kind
not.
of both, I think.
You are both?
I think so.
Yes, that's good. But when you speak, are you speaking about the problems or are you speaking about solutions?
Logically, I'm mostly, I guess, thinking about solutions and speaking about them, but mostly focused about problems.
Yes, but when you speak about problems and you are
Yes.
open-minded and you
Yes.
are trying to be empathic,
Mm-hmm.
you will ask, not say, you will ask.
Exactly.
And then if you are positive, then you will speak about the solution. You understand the difference?
Exactly. Yes, I do.
Okay. So 3 points. Don't speak if you are going to speak that something is bad. Prefer don't speak. Don't say that something is bad, because nothing is bad in the eyes of the other persons. It's not bad because they are saying it. So don't say that. Nothing is bad. Third, if you are not certain that something that has been saying or something you want to say is really true, don't speak. Don't speak only if you are persuaded that something is true. And you will be persuaded that something is true if you have verified it before. If you have not verified, don't speak. People who are networking don't speak bad and don't speak rumors. They don't propagate rumors. And the third point needs intelligence, but you are intelligent. Don't speak if it's useless. Sometimes it is useless to say something. Then don't say it. Keep it for you. Yeah? This is being positive. Positive. Active means, okay, I speak only when it is good and verified, but it is also neutral when I don't speak if it is useless. Self-confidence and courage and brave. Maybe it's funny to find it here, and I was not sure to speak about that. But in my life, I had many times contact with people who had good business ideas, good company ideas, but did not dare to speak in public. If you don't dare to speak in public, if you are afraid to speak in public, then you have to lose this problem that is yours, because you have to speak in public. Public means 1 person, 3 persons, 50 persons, maybe 100 persons, but you have to speak. When you go into the stage, you will be a little bit afraid. It's normal. Every comedian has that. Everybody. I have that. Even in my age, when I have to speak to 300 people in a big room, I have a little bit fear. I'm a little bit fear of it. But I think that I have to be brave. I go there, and after the first words, it's forgotten, and I speak. Speak in public, it is the only way to be self-confident and brave. Did you try that already? Did you try to speak in public?
Yes.
And
At first, it was pretty scary, but once you get used to it, like it definitely gives you self-confidence and it raises your self-esteem for sure.
that's right. That's really right. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Fine. Very good.
Thank
And
you.
now attention. The last word in my mind map. Pay attention. What does it mean, pay attention? Pay attention mean give the people to feel that you think to them. There are many ways to do that. Send them a card to their birthday or a mail to their birthday. Never have lunch alone. Try always to call somebody 30 minutes before and say, hey, can we have lunch together? Send them or for Christmas or things like, or every other, or Easter and things like that. Send them a card. And in this card, it's absolutely indifferent what you are writing because they understand he thought, she thought to me. And this is paying attention. My friend tell me I am the man who sends postcards. When I was traveling in Tbilisi or in Yerevan or in other countries, because I travel a lot, I always send some postcards to some friends. Every friend of mine gets 1, 2, or 3 postcards in the year. And I am Mr. Postcard. That's why I have a very big network in many countries in the world, in Europe, yeah, because I pay attention. Pay attention to the people. Let them feel that you think to them. It doesn't mean that you love them. Okay, you may love them, it's not a problem. But they have to understand that you think to them, that you are present in your life. When you get a mail, an email, with things that are for you not so interesting, but if you remember that somebody else in your network could be interesting, send it. Don't ask if they are interesting to get it. Send it, because even if it's not interesting, they will know you have thought to them. This is pay attention. So if you are able to listen actively, if you are able to feel empathy, if you are able to think sympathy, if you are open-minded, if you are positive-minded, if you are attentive to the people, then you have the best conditions to begin with a large networking. So, and where do you get it? Well, no, I have two last points. You never, what I wrote, you never get a second opportunity to get a good first impression. You understand that? When you meet a person for the first time, you give a first impression. Even if you don't believe that, if you believe this person didn't look at you or didn't listen to you, this person has an impression of yours. And this impression has to be good, because you won't get a second opportunity to get a first good impression. So give good impressions. And you can have good impression: active listening, empathy, sympathy, open-minded, positive-minded, self-confidence, brave, attentive, things like that, gives always a good impression. Know your strengths and weakness. If you don't know them, then you will not be able to be really active listening, empathic, sympathetic, be open-minded, etc. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? You have strengths. Everybody has strengths. You have weaknesses, because everybody has weaknesses. Know them and work on that. Maybe not the first days, the first weeks, the first month, the first year, but if you work on it, then you will get it, that your strengths are present in your mind, that your weaknesses are also present in your mind, and you avoid the effect of that. And use your unique personal argument. Your unique personal argument are your strengths. Where are you good? Are you better in active listening or something else? Think about that. The best way to know that is you close your computer, you close your telephone, and 1 hour you do things without any noise, no radio, no music, no internet, no TV, nothing. Silence, silence, 1 hour. And think about active listening, etc. Yeah, and then you will know where is your unique personal argument, and then you will use it. And you will use it not to hide your person, because it is not, you may not hide your personality, but to use the best side of your personality. So what kind of networks? I go to the 1, 2, 3, 4, to the 4th chapter. What kind of networks? So we have networks on purposes, networks on being, so what are networks on purposes? We have objectives in common. If you are collecting stamps, letter stamps, and you are in a club for collectors of business stamps, of letter stamps, then you have an objective in common. It is to collect letter stamps. You know, this is a network on purposes. Then you look for the realization of objectives, and we have and that's it. These 2 points. These 2 points. Having a networks on business issues is a network on purposes. In this network of purposes, when you know that it is a network of purposes, and the purpose is business, then you may speak about business. You may speak about your business, about your needs, and you may ask the people, don't you want to buy my things? Or what do you have to sell? Things like that. Because you are out for the realization of objectives, means make business, make money. By network of being, we have a way of life in common. It is something else. It is altruistic. It doesn't mean realization of objectives. It is being together and being happy together. You know, it is very important to distinguish that, because in a network of purpose, the objective is not to be happy. And in the network of being, the objective is not to make business. Don't be confused. If you're trying to make business in a network on being, then you will be excluded. People won't say that, but you will understand that you don't belong to that. And if you go in a network on purposes and you don't try to make business or to try to realize the objectives of the network, then you will also be out, even if the people don't say it. So it is very important to understand, if you come into a network that already exists, but you are not in it, to understand, is it a network on purposes or is it a network on being? So now let's look at who are they. Network on purposes. Sports. Sports is a network on purposes because it is the sport challenge, you know, and you want to make sport together, but you don't need to make business together. But it is not impossible, because everybody in this club of sports knows that you are coming for a purpose and they are also coming for a purpose. So maybe one day it could be possible to speak about business, but first speak about sports. Second, business. Here you have in every country, also in Georgia and in Armenia, you have a junior chamber of commerce. Do you know that? Do you know that?
No.
No? So then look for it. Look for it. But even if you are not really in business, you are now starting a business. So go to the junior chamber of commerce and speak with the young people. You find them and speak about your business, not about your being, but about your purposes, about your objectives. Business associations, maybe there are some others that I don't know, but you have to look for them. Where are associations, NGOs, networks on men in business, women in business, young women in business, young men in business, and things like that. Look for them and go. On your job, if you are, I don't remember, some of yours are students, but some of yours are in jobs, there are probably networks on the jobs, yeah? Or on ancient jobs. If you leave a job shortly, last year, for example, there are probably a network, and it could be interesting to know you again. And it could be interesting for you also to know what happened there. And if you go to a congress or a fair, how do you call that when in a country, in a city, producer come and show their products, and public comes and see all that. Here you will meet people in these kind of fairs. And these are very important. They are the most important. With the Chamber of Commerce, they are the most important people because they all already know if you come to them, it is to sell things or to buy them. They know. So you don't need to be very diplomatic and things like that. You don't need that. So Junior Chamber of Commerce, business associations, on the job, on the ancient job, and Congress and so like that. But also in a pub. Find out in which pub young business people meet. In every country you have that. In every bigger city, you have some pubs that where young business people go in the evening and drink after the office or things like that. Go there. Social networks in internet. There are a lot of them, but you have here to learn how to go with it. I'm not able to teach you how to do that. But if you want to integrate a network for business purposes in the internet, then you have to learn how to do that. It's not enough to go into Facebook and to say, okay, in Facebook I will make some business. It's not right. It's not enough. Yeah, you might more. Meetings. Meetings means, well, I don't know enough of country to tell you where there are some mailing lists where you get invitations to meetings and where you can go and meet some people. You know, sometimes meet one person in a meeting is a big job if it is the right person, but it is not a problem if it was not the right person, you will do it better the next time. So now networks on being, and here you have to be very diplomatic. Here it is not to make business, but it could come that you could make business. In religion, in the parish, you have people. So if you have the possibility to go there, go there. You don't need to go each time there, every week. If you go every month or every 3 months, but you have then to speak intelligent things so that they remember you. And if you came 3 months ago, 3 months after, then they will remember you and say, oh, it was this young lady or this young man. Yeah. And philosophy, there are some service clubs. I don't know if you have Rotaract, Freemasons, and such societies. They are also very important because in these societies, you can also do no business. And I think it is also important to have networks where you make no business or very exceptionally. The alumni, I remember you are all in university or former university students, go into alumni associations. In the pub, it's also pub. Pubs are very important, even in your countries. I saw that because I visited some pubs in the evenings to see who is sitting there and what they are doing with another, and they are speaking with another. So go there. Online communities, well, it's the same like social networks and fraternities. I don't know what kind of fraternities exist in your countries. So it's your job to find them. What the consequence is, networks are not waiting for you. You are waiting for networks. Don't wait because they don't come. You have to look for them and you have to go there. Sometimes you will be invited, sometimes you will not be invited, but as long as they don't say you don't come in, then you go in. When they tell you you won't come in, try to understand and come the next time. Okay? So, your objectives. What do I expect of this, of that network? This is important. Either networks on purpose or networks on being, you have to be clear in your head what you are looking there. If you are looking for business, then you have to be sure that it is the right place. If you are looking for happiness, then you have to be clear that it is also the right place. What do I expect? Because you have to choose between a behavior that is cooperative or competition. In the Junior Chamber of Commerce, you will probably find people whose behavior is not cooperative, but competition. But in other associations, you will find people whose behavior is cooperative and not competition. So be clear about that and look for it. Think in the long term. Entering a network, an existing network, is not for today. It is for years. So you have to be prudent. To be prudent means to pay attention that if you go once, you will also go the second time, the third time, and so on. Think in the long term. Be a friend or be open, even if you are not a friend by now, be open to those who are thinking that they could be friends with you, but don't tell it by now. So think in the long term. Be really visible and transparent and true. Be visible. How can you be visible? You can be visible if you have a good dress. It doesn't mean an expensive dress. It means a dress that is adequate to your personality. If you are a short person or a tall person, a thin person or a fatter person, then you have to get the dress that is okay with that. You have to be your hair dressed in the way that passes to your personality. Then you will be visible. Transparent means don't try to give an impression that you are not. Don't try to tell the people you are rich if you are not rich, or to be other things than you are. Be transparent, be you, and true. True means when you speak what you think and not what other people think. It is true. Introverted versus extroverted. I don't know if you understand that. Some people are introverted, some people are extroverted. It's normal. Both is normal. But it doesn't mean that introverted people cannot go into networks, and it doesn't mean that extroverted people will flow out networks. Be yourself, and if you think you are introverted, then you know that it is some way a weakness in the empathy or in sympathy. So you have to make some efforts to go to people and speak, speak in public, Yeah. If you are extroverted, then you have to know that you may not speak too much. Make short sentences, 1, 2, 3 sentences, and stop. If the people is interested, they will ask, what do you mean? And then again, 3 sentences, and stop. Selection versus quantity. So, how many networks do you need? How many networks do you reserve? You can have as many as you can manage, but you have to manage them. If you have in some networks, if you go there once a year, it's not a network. It's useless. You are losing your time. Because if you go only once a year, it means that you don't realize your purpose there. You don't realize any objective. So maybe you begin with 2 or 3 networks, but you are active in it. Active, really active. Be present. Active doesn't mean speak. Sometimes to be there 1 hour, to be there and say hello, and that's it. And then you go. And after 1 week, you come back. The people we know, I know them. I saw them already. So in this case, you are already a member of the network. So select the networks, select the persons into the networks. It's better than quantity. Difference carefully between your networks and close the doors. People in one network do not need to know in what other network you are. They don't need that. So speak in one network about issues that are interesting in this network, but don't speak about the issues that have been interesting in another network. It's not interesting for this network. That's what I mean. Select carefully between your networks. If you speak some kinds of things, some issues in one network, then continue to speak about it. And in another network, it's something else. And close the doors. Man versus woman. This is an important issue, and maybe we will have some differentiated opinions on that. Men and women have not the same behavior in networks. They have not. I have found a study in the Harvard Business Manager. It is a review, you know, probably. If you look for it, you will find it, yeah? And you will find that men are more interested into networks and women are less interested into networks. This is a generality, and you may protest. I would accept that, yeah? Because some men are not so interested and some women are more interested, but you have to know that generally men are more interested and women are less interested in network. It means proof. You have to verify. If you are in a network where you see interesting ladies and you are a man, then verify if they are interesting into the networking processes or into something else. And I could say the same with ladies. Do you want to discuss about that? Okay. Offer actively your help. It means first give, then take. A network is not a shop where you go and you take. It is not. It is a process, a complex process of giving and taking. If you are new in a network, first you give, and then you will be able to take. But first, you give. It means you will give. The most important thing in your life is time. Give time. If somebody says, oh, it would be interesting to meet, it means say yes. You don't know why,